What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for thelines.com, playpicks.com. Going to talk a little about Monday Night Football between the Chiefs and the Ravens, perhaps the most anticipated Monday Night Football game in quite some time. Two Super Bowl favorites going to be going at it here in Week 3. Before we get going, as always, please hit that subscribe button down below. Really do appreciate you supporting the channel. Give us a thumbs up on the video, and also let us know in the comments how you plan on playing this game. We had a winner on Sunday Night Football. Remember, those prop bets pay it's all greenbacks, right? It's all the same money. Doesn't matter whether you play a side or a total or if you play player props. So win on Sunday night. Hopefully we'll have us a win here on Monday night. You can see a breakdown of the entire game here written over on thelines.com. So be sure and check that out. This thing opened at 3, briefly touched 2.5, and now it is back up to 3.5 as you kind of see where we are right here. This is Draftkings. This is Fanduel. You can see Draftkings is 3.5, 54. Over at Fanduel, we got 3.5, 54.5. Over at BetMGM, 3.5, 53.5. And then over here on PointsBet, 3.5, 54. So it's very important, as we always say, to have multiple accounts in any of these states. So look, go to U.S. Sport, where it says U.S. Sports Betting here at the top, at the lines. Click on your state, and then just take advantage of the offers. Bunch of free money, match bets, deposit bonuses, all the stuff like that. But like, you're going to want multiple accounts because, as you can see, like the numbers are varying and stuff like that. So you want to make sure you're getting the best number for whatever side you want to play. Low 70s, no rain for this one, so nothing to worry about there at all. The Chiefs 2-0, 1-1 against the spread. Ravens 2-0, 2-0 against the spread. Chiefs injuries. Alex Okafor is going to be out for them. Sammy Watkins has a concussion, but he did practice fully on Saturday, so it looks like he's going to be able to go. Should be getting cleared to play in this game. On the Ravens side of things, corner Tavon Young actually tore his ACL last week, and he's out. Other than that, Ravens pretty healthy in this one. So the Chiefs offense, you know how it goes. Patrick Mahomes, 302 pass yards in 28 minutes with the ball in week 2. This team seems to find a way to get it done, even though they have started out kind of slow here through the first 2 weeks. Just hasn't really been firing on all cylinders, but still just finds a way to get it done. I'll scroll here for you to kind of read along. Ravens offense, 230 yards on the ground against the Texans last week. Look, they've got just weapons galore, right? I mean, outside of Lamar, Gus Edwards is doing the damn thing. We know Mark Ingram is there. I mean, the J.K. Dobbins that they drafted. So, I mean, they just have a wealth of talent there in the backfield, averaging 170.5 rushing yards per game so far on the short season. Continue to scroll for you to read along. Chiefs defense. Here's the thing. This is the Achilles heel of this team is the rush defense. 26th in rush defense DVOA so far. And listen, I know you're saying, look, it's only 2 games into the season, but this is pretty much the same team returning as last year. And the rushing defense was actually the Achilles heel of this team last year as well. So we can kind of take a little bit from what we already knew coming into the year. 25th in rush defense, rush defensive rating according to Pro Football Focus. So it's not just DVOA rankings. Pro Football Focus is watching every single play. They're rating every single player. 25th in rush defense according to them. Their tackling grade, dead last in the NFL. Yes, dead last. 32nd in the NFL in tackling grade according to Pro Football Focus. Even their coverage grade is 24th by Pro Football Focus. So the Chiefs defense has definitely been the weak part of this team so far this season. On the Ravens side, the defense, third pass defense DVOA so far through the short season, been very, very stout there. Only allowed 232 passing yards per game so far through the first couple of games here. Not as good on the ground when it comes to rush defense, but not a defense that you can absolutely abuse on the ground at all. So the defense for the Ravens seems to have, as far as the upper hand goes between the two units, at least seems to have the upper hand in this one so far. So we'll click over here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the total. So let's say we wanted to play the under. And if we wanted to play the under, I believe we would be heading over here to Fanduel, right? That was where the 54.5 was. Yeah. All right. So let's say we want to play the under over here, and we would do that at Fanduel since we're getting 54.5. What is a case for the under in this game? I think an obvious case for the under here is, like I said, the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes really have kind of struggled a little bit. They have not been firing on all cylinders. Maybe Sammy Watkins doesn't get cleared, so now you're down another one of your playmakers in this offense. Another thing could just be Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters. I mean, we're talking about two very elite all-pro corners. Maybe they slow things down. Maybe they just don't allow the Chiefs to get stuff going through the air. I mean, this is a really, really elite pass defense here, especially with Humphrey and Peters out there. So if you look for a case for the under here, and we're talking 54.5, you got to get to 55 points. You know, if you play the under over here on FanDuel, maybe the Chiefs just, you know, they don't get shut down per se, but I mean, maybe they put up 24 points in the game. 24 points if they, you know, say they win 24-21. Maybe they lose 27-24. We're still coming in under this 54.5 right here. So something to think about there. If we want to play the over, we would head to BetMGM because we know this is where the 53.5 lives. So if that's the case, the over here on BetMGM, I think the over, not that I really have to convince you, but it's the two best teams in the NFL, pretty much. It's the two best offenses in the NFL, pretty much. It's two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, undoubtedly. So, like, there's no real reason for me to sit here and try to convince you as to how this thing gets to the over. How does this get to the over? Patrick Mahomes does what Patrick Mahomes does, Lamar Jackson what Lamar Jackson does, and these defenses just aren't any match for what they're able to pull off, you know. So I don't really have to make a case for the over here for you. I don't think if you want to play the over here, I think you pretty much know how it gets there in this thing. I don't think we're going to get there with turnovers. You know, both of these guys not like turnover-prone quarterbacks or anything like that. So it's not going to be short fields. It's just going to be them leading these offenses up and down the field, you know. And I think it's a very real possibility to happen. So let's take a look here at some of the player props and see if there's anything that we want to hit on here before we get into this. I mean, like, let's take a look down here and like at the as far as the passing yards go. I mean, look, Mahomes at 292. I would play the under or pass. That being said, it's kind of right in the projection window of where I would have this thing. Kind of exact same thing here with Lamar Jackson. Honestly, these props, guys, I looked through them. I couldn't find really anything where I thought there was a decent edge here. These seems to be homed in pretty good. I imagine they've been getting a lot of action at the sports books as well. So I imagine these things have been kind of like beat up. If there was any sort of soft number, you can see Mahomes passing touchdowns has been getting destroyed on the over. So you're having to lay two bills here, $2 to win one over here on Patrick Mahomes. And so you get on the rushing yards. Look, the only thing I think you could look at here, and it's already been juiced up a little bit, would be the over on Mahomes. Because, again, he's not afraid to take off. He's not afraid to scramble. And depending on how you think this game script goes, if there's any chance of them having to play from behind, then you know how that kind of goes as well, too. I mean, quarterbacks will just kind of take what they can get as they're marching the ball down the field. They get those little 8-yard scampers here and there. Next thing you know, you look up, he's way over the 17.5. Now, 155, you do got to lay that. That's depending on it's going to depend on your bankroll, right? Over here on the receiving yards, there was really nothing here that I saw that really stuck out. The only thing would be maybe an over on Marquise Brown. So this average here at 51.5 is pretty much where kind of like his career average. So they kind of just set the number at his career average. But you got to remember, last year as a rookie, wasn't playing as many snaps, wasn't running as many routes, certainly wasn't as big a part of the offense as he is this year. So if you kind of adjust that for, you know, a whole year of being in the offense, running more routes, playing more snaps, it would at least lead you to the over on a Marquise Brown as far as like receiving yards go there. So in case you want to get involved in any of the props in this thing. As far as how I am going to be playing this game, as you can see right here, Chiefs at Draftkings juiced to 114. You can see over here, Chiefs juiced to 115. Not at MGM, but even over at PointsBet, juiced to 115. This thing looks to be going to 3. And if that's the case, I'm going to be coming in on the home team Ravens here. I understand it's not home field advantage. I'm not worried about that. That's not what I'm worried about. What I am worried about is this defense for the Chiefs and how they're going to be able to contain what might be the hardest offense in all the NFL to contain. And that's Lamar Jackson and all of his stable of running backs, his pretty good receivers as well, and everything that they bring to the table here. So if this thing gets to a flat 3, which again, it looks like it's heading in that direction, I cannot imagine a situation on an island game like this where people are going to look and see the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champions, and see them with that hook, the 3 and a hook, and not bet that. So I imagine, if not by the time you watch this, by the time this thing kicks off, that hook is going to be gone. So if you're leaning towards the Chiefs, I would say bet it as soon as you see it. If you want the Ravens like I do, hold out for the 3, and I believe it's going to get there. So that's the way I'm going to be playing this game. I'm going to be looking for the Ravens 3. If it doesn't get there before the game starts, I'll just be looking to make an in-game play on the Ravens in this thing. I really do think that they're the better team as we enter here in week 3 of this season. Now, is that going to be the case in week 12, week 14, week 50? I don't know. Doesn't matter. We're betting week 3 right now. And week 3, I really do like what I've seen from the Ravens, not only from an offensive perspective, but a defensive perspective, and being able to limit what the Chiefs should be able to do. And I find it very, very hard to think that this Chiefs defense is going to be able to shut down this Ravens offense with all the problems that the Chiefs defense is kind of going through right now. So that's what I'm going to be looking for there. On the Ravens is the flat 3. Think it'll get there. No real play on the total here. This is kind of right on where I think it would be. I do think there will be scoring in this game. So if for whatever reason, maybe these two teams don't score on the first couple of drives or something, and this thing live total, I'd be looking to live bet this thing over if this thing drops down to a level to where I'm like, okay, this has gotten out of control here. Just because they don't score on a couple of drives here doesn't mean this game is going to be a clunker. So that's how I'll be looking to play the total, is just an in-game scenario, and hopefully these teams start out slow. And if that's the case, I'll be looking to play an in-game over. But other than that, guys, that's how I'm going to be going after this one. Ravens is a flat 3. I believe it'll get there, and that's how I'm going to go at it. Did have the over on the rushing yards for Mahomes as well. But again, that's bankroll dependent, so I'm not going to make that like, something that I say, hey, definitely go do. Depends on how your bankroll is. If you can lay 155 to win 100, then by all means do that as well. Please hit that subscribe button down below. Really appreciate you guys watching the vid, supporting the channel. And look, we're trying to educate you along the way, hopefully guide you to a bet that you were looking to make anyway, or at least provide you the information that gives you, a path to the bet that you're making here. We're not just going to try and just say, hey, bet this, bet this, bet this, bet this. And what we're trying to do, we want you to become better bettors out there, because that's how you're going to end up ultimately winning the most amount of money, having the correct strategy, having the correct process, and doing all of this. As always, also head to the lines. Right up here, U.S. sports betting, click on your state and find the best sportsbook deals. If you live in Jersey, Pennsylvania, whatever it might be, but you can see all these deals, free money, free risk, free bets, risk-free bets, all the 9 yards, all that stuff is there. So these are all things that you definitely want to be taking advantage of, because you're going to want to be getting the best odds, the best lines, paying the least amount of juice every single time that you make a bet. Let us know in the comments how you're going to play this game, guys, and good luck here on Monday Night Football.